Hello everyone, welcome to the optical communication lecture series. In the last lecture we have studied some advantages of the optical communication. Also we have studied the different characteristics of the optical communication like a spectral width, then polarization. So we have seen the polarization like elliptical, circular and linear polarization. So that is, and how the waves can be transferred through the electromagnetic way, so that we also studied in the last lecture. So today's lecture, as I said, and end up with the last lecture that we will study with the wave function. So we are starting with the wave function topic. What is why we require this wave function topic? Because wave function, how the wave will travel inside the optical fiber, so that we have to study first. Otherwise it will be difficult to understand the nature of the waves inside the optical fiber. So in this lecture we will study about the optical fiber of that wave function. So in the wave function, first of all, we have to write the equation of the wave function. So wave function equation, we know that psi of x of t is equal to amplitude exponential omega t minus beta x j, okay, imaginary part. So that is the equation of the wave. In that, a is the amplitude of the wave, omega is angular frequency, and beta is the phase constant. Beta is phase constant. So now inside the omega t minus beta x, beta x is the x is the space factor, and omega t is the time domain factor. Okay, so in that beta x, if you consider this as a constant, this is constant, so wave will travel inside the into the space by time with respect to time. When you consider this as the time domain as a constant, when we consider any wave, suppose this is sine wave, and we instantaneously see that wave, that time we consider as a time as a constant. So omega t we have to consider as a constant. That time this wave look like a, it will complete this wave. So this is your 2 pi, okay, wavelength. So that x can be a lambda, so x will be work as a wavelength for the lambda, for the, if you are considering this example sine wave. Then beta lambda total we have to consider as a, beta is a phase constant, so beta lambda is equal to 2 pi. Okay, so beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda. So phase factor is dependent on the wavelength, so you can see inversely proportional to the phase constant with the wavelength. So lambda is equal to, we know that lambda is equal to velocity divided by frequency. So velocity, that is, that can be vary across the different mediums. So velocity will not constant. So we can't trust, we can't go with a velocity. So velocity can be vary with a different medium. So it's, suppose there will be a glass medium, water medium, or any air medium. That time velocity can be changes. So suppose velocity equation will be lambda into frequency. Now we have to go for refractive index. What is mean by refractive index? So refractive index is denoted by n. The refractive index will tell you where the, which is the medium is good for, uh, where the, if the refractive index is higher, is it the optical fiber communication will be very smooth inside that. When the refractive index is very low, that time the waves can be reflected or refracted back to the any another medium. So that's the way refractive index is very important for us in the optical fiber communication. So you will see that inside the structure of the optical fiber, refractive index will be vary. Okay, so refractive index is C divided by V, where C is the speed of the light into the vacuum. We know that what is that speed, 3 into 10 raised to 8. So divided by velocity. So V is given by the velocity. So that is the way you can use this refractive index. Now we have to use that effective refractive index. So the term called as a effective refractive index. What is meant by effective refractive index? So effective refractive index means we have to consider as a bound structure. Bound structure means we have to consider as a glass rod as a medium. In that glass rod we have to see the variation of the refractive index. So there will be a bound structure. Inside that bound structure there is a vacuum. Okay, it is not a total space where you can consider as a that totally vacuum, but we have to consider this bound structure. In that bound structure, so N effective you can call is equal to C by C by velocity of medium. So C is the velocity of the vacuum, that is 3 into 10 raised to 8. So light can be measured in wavelength instead of frequency. So we have to consider this 1 nanometer. We know that what is 1 nanometer? 1 into 10 raised to 9 meter. Okay, so that is 1 nanometer. So we have seen the different windows for that. So which was the windows? So we have seen the window like 800 nanometer, 1300 nanometer and 1550 nanometer. So if you take the average of all these windows, so what you will take, that is 1000 nanometer. We require this average, that's why I am taking this 1000 nanometer is the average. Now again I am writing the equation for lambda. So lambda equation can be, so lambda is equal to velocity divided by frequency. So frequency can be given by velocity divided by lambda. So velocity is given by velocity in a vacuum, you are saying that, we are saying that 3 into 10 raised to 8 divided by lambda wavelength, we are taking the average, that is 1000. So 1000 into nanometer, 1000 into 10 raised to minus 9. So 3 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So frequency, that's why it is hertz. So now we are taking the differentiation with respect to with respect to frequency. We will write for this equation. For this equation we will take derivation. I will tell you why. Derivation with respect to frequency. So delta lambda is equal to velocity with respect to frequency we are taking, that's why minus 1 by f square delta f. Okay, we are using delta lambda minus velocity divided by, now I am writing rearranging the terms, minus velocity divided by f, delta f divided by f. So v by f, what is v by f? V by velocity by f is lambda. So delta lambda is equal to minus lambda delta f divided by f. So I am using this delta lambda which divided by lambda minus delta f divided by f. Now we know that delta lambda is what? Spectral width. What is maximum spectral width? Spectral width we know that is 100 nanometer. We have discussed in the first lecture. Spectral width can be a 100 nanometer, and lambda we are taking the average, that is 1000 nanometer. So spectral width means we have seen that chart. In that chart we have seen the windows like 100, 200, 300. So the difference gap is going from 100, 200, 300. That's why we are taking this spectral width is 100 nanometer. Okay. So lambda we are taking, that is 1000 nanometer. Lambda is average wavelength we are taking 1000 nanometer. So, and frequency we are taking as a frequency we have already calculated here. Frequency here 3 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. Okay. So delta lambda, we will put straightforward equation that values. The value of delta lambda is 100 nanometer divided by 1000 nanometer. So 1000 get cancelled, nanometer get cancelled. Then here in the right hand side, minus delta f we have to calculate, and the frequency is 3 into 10 raised to 14. Okay. So if you rearrange the terms, so delta f is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 13 hertz, and if you want to if you want to convert it to terahertz, it should be delta f is equal to 30 into 10 raised to 12 hertz. What I want to show is optical fiber communication is having very large band frequency, that is in terahertz, 30 into 10 raised to 12 terahertz. If you go for radio band frequencies might be in a megahertz, gigahertz, maximum they can be goes up to the gigahertz. But optical fiber communication is having the large band frequencies like up to terahertz. So this terahertz frequency we have to use for optical communication. In the next part, that is ray model, and that is our core part of your optical fiber communication. In the ray model, we will see that how these frequencies that we have seen that the band frequencies, how we can apply inside the optical fiber. So optical fiber structure, we know that this is the structure of optical fiber. I am drawing here. So this is the structure of optical fiber. This middle part is very important part, that is core part. This part is cladding part, and this is for buffer part. So what is meaning of the core, cladding and buffer? That core means where your optical waves will be travel through for the communication. So core part is very important. Whole operation will conduct inside the core. Next part is cladding. Why cladding is required? Cladding is required for, so suppose some waves will be refracted back outside the core, that waves can be reflected back inside the core again due to this cladding. Both core and cladding is made up of the glass fiber, and this last part, that is buffer, is only for the mechanical purpose, not any, don't have any technical uh, operation inside the optical fiber communication. Buffer is using only for damage control. And this core and cladding are the very important, that is they are made up of the silica glass fiber. Inside that glass fiber we have to launch that wave equation or waves, and that wave should be travel through the core up to the last receiver. So how the waves will travel inside the core, how we have to launch that waves inside the core, that we have to see into the ray model. So ray model, then wave model, and then we have to see the quantum model. Okay, so quantum model is very important, where we will use, we will see that how the photons will travel through the core. Okay, so we have to see, before that we have to see the ray model. You must have studied that ray model and wave model in the 12th physics optical, if you have optical section in that. So core and cladding is very important for our study. So we'll see that ray model. Inside that, refractive index we have to see. So what is the equation of the refractive index? So refractive index we have calculated yesterday in the today's lecture, that given by the C by V. Now refractive index is vary inside the core. So at the center refractive index is higher. Now by gradually it will decrease. So in the cladding also the same. So the refractive index is very important, and we have to do the calculations for the refractive index. So in the next lecture we will see some uh, in detail about the ray model, how the waves will travel inside the optical fiber, that we will see in, into the next lecture. So thank you for the today's lecture.